If your rankings are solid, but your traffic is still falling, I have 3 actionable steps what you can do right now. First, we are going to track our brand performance in the LLMs to create a baseline. Then we are going to do competitor research inside the LLM results to see what we are up against. And 3, the final step is to execute all the ideas we've gotten from the tools to create content and contact other sources. To do all this, we're going to need the most advanced tool available to date, which is also the sponsor of this video, Semrush. To get a 14-day trial instead of 7 days, go to mathtutorials.com/SemrushAI, and then you will go straight to the website of Semrush. And now you have a 14 days Semrush 1 starter trial. Press over here, try for 14 days. Create an account with our email, or you can log in with Google. Create a really strong password. Receive news and SEO tips from Semrush, very useful, and press on create account. Then you need to verify your email, then fill in your credit card information over here. Now don't worry, you won't get billed today. If you don't like Semrush, you can cancel your subscription within 14 days. No question asked, and all will be fine. And then we press over here on try it now. Welcome to the dashboard of Semrush. Now Semrush is a real extensive tool that enables you to see everything in regards to SEO, do your research. It's really gigantic. Because Semrush is such an extensive tool, I've created a dedicated tutorial of 1.5 hours you can see over here, and it's all about the entire SEO suite from Semrush, so make sure to check it out after this video. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you everything about the AI visibility tool. So let's start with the visibility overview. Then fill in your domain name. I'm going to use cloudfest.com. If you want to go free to Cloudfest this March in 2026, make sure to check out my link in the description of this video and in the comments, and you can go for free. Normally ticket is $500. So hope to see you over there. And then you click this button, check AI visibility. Then let's start at the top of this page. This shows us the AI visibility in just one overview. 16 out of 100, that's really low, and it rarely mentions our domain name in LLM outputs. That's not good. Then over here we can see a beautiful graph which shows you the AI visibility in different LLMs in the course of different months. If you're using Semrush for a longer time, you can see way more data, and that's interesting because you can only compare it to last month, a couple of months ago, if your visibility is actually changing in the course of time. Just a small side note, as the development of the LLMs goes so extremely fast, maybe ChatGPT 6 shows your brand and ChatGPT number 10 doesn't show your brand at all. Just keep that in mind when assessing all these data. Then we can see over here the monthly audience, which is basically the search volume for LLMs. And as you can see, there is a lot of audience looking for all this information. What information? Well, if we scroll down, we can see exactly what information people are asking in the LLMs. For example, cloud computing in conference events. Now, this is exactly what Cloudfest is. And you can see all these prompts and then the answers, and if your brand is being mentioned, yes or no. If you think, wait, what? I really have to be inside of this prompt and it's not in here right now. Why not? Then you can click over here to monitor this prompt. You can send it to the prompt tracking. There we go. We can use ChatGPT in the United States. How can I participate? And I'm gonna press on start tracking. Now we are catapulted over here to the AI prompt tracking, and we can see in the course of months if our content is being picked up by the different LLMs. But Semrush can also generate content for you to put on your website. Just click over here on create content, and then you can use this content toolkit. It's an extra $60 a month, but then you can create articles with the amount of words that you want, with the titles, the keywords, even AI generated copyright free images, and you can press on generate article, place it on your website, and you might hit those LLMs. It's a really great addition, but you have to pay extra for the content toolkit. But here we can only see our performing topics. But what about the topics that we don't perform in? Here are the topic opportunities. Now this is pure gold. In here you can just open this. What are the Mobile World Congress and related tech events? Just create content for this opportunity. Really great. But also, for example, the emergent tech news and updates. How can I stay updated? Well, you need to go to CloudFest, because that's the place where thought leaders are and giving presentations, and you can network with a lot of thought leaders in your business. So we definitely need to create content for that. Also over here, well, all these informations is very interesting. If you want to have related events, you can use that to create content about it. Then we go to another very interesting one, the cited sources. These are the sources that Semrush found when prompting about your domain name and your competitors, and see what sources are being used by the LLMs. It's up to you and me to get inside of those sources as much as possible, as relevant as possible, and get your mentions inside of the AI. These are of course just the top domains, but if you click on, for example, youtube.com, and you can see different kind of prompts, you can click on view full response, and then we can see the different kind of sources that are being used to create this response. Now this is pure gold information, so use it, make a list of all these sources, and make sure that you are also being mentioned there, or create your own content. Then the next table is also very interesting. Go to source opportunities. Here we can see where our competitors are being mentioned, but not us. And these are the sources that you definitely want to be in there. If we go, for example, to the cloud communication platform, view full response, we can see over here the different kind of brands that are being mentioned in all of these sources. The best option would be if cloudfest.com is also mentioned inside of one of these articles or blog posts or websites, so that it will be used also in the LLM's answer. And then we go to the last one, which is called the cited pages. In here, you can see, if you expand it, you can see your URLs that are being used and cited within LLMs, but it's possible that they don't even mention your brand. Very frustrating, I know, but there is a way to fix that. So for example, are there any popular tournaments for coding and esport players? Now, cloudfest.com has a blog, Best Programming Competition Hackathons for Coders. It's literally in the title, but when you see the full response, you can see that they are using this page, but they're not mentioning CloudFest themselves. So what I would do is visit this URL and make sure that CloudFest is being mentioned as one of the best, extremely nice places with huge prizes to be mentioned inside of the LLMs. Because it's a shame that they're using this page to generate an answer, but not using your own domain and your brand. Excellent. Already in these tools, you can see all the golden nuggets that you can retrieve from this Semrush AI tool. Let's go to the next one, which is the competitor research. In here, you have to add in your competitors. In this case, we have example.com, test.com, and amazon.com, which are completely not relevant for our CloudFest. So what you do is you click over here and add in your own competitor. There we go. When you've added your real competitors, click on Analyze. I don't know why these competitors were pretty off, maybe because of the country I selected, but here we go. First, we can see over here the visibility in the course of 3 months from all our competitors and our own website. Then we go to audience, and then we can see the mentions. As you can see, that cloudfest.com is the biggest inside of this, which is really great. And also in the competitor insights, it's being mentioned in the second one. But competitors are catching up. So that means your competitors are not doing nothing. They're actually working to also get mentioned and get in the same audience as you are. So we have to stay on top of this. If we then scroll down, we can actually compare our competitors with our own results inside of this table. You can see your mentions, you can expand it, and you can see exactly what prompts there are, which being mentioned, which branch, which sources. You can create content, send them to the monitor, all these things. You can see exactly what is important for your business. Make sure to monitor those prompts and act accordingly. Now, this information is really important to use to stay on top of the game inside of your niche. Now, inside of the topics, you can go to missing, where competitors are mentioned, but you are not. The weak ones, the shared one, the strong one, and the unique, where only your brand is mentioned and not the other ones. Now again, you can monitor all these prompts, or if you expand them, you can generate content about it to put on your website and make sure that you are being mentioned inside of the LLMs. You can also do this not only for topics, but also for different kind of prompts. This is exactly the same, missing, shared, and unique, and you can create content or monitor them. And with this information, we can spot trends with our competitors. Are they doing a better job? Are they investing money in their visibility in LLMs, or are you still on top of the game? Let's go to the next one, which is the AI prompt research. Now this tool is the other way around. You can add in a topic, not a real question, but a topic, and then you can see if your brand are being mentioned. For example, I'm just gonna add in Cloud Conference, and then Semrush comes up with all these ideas. Data Clouds Conference and events. Sounds great. Let's do that. And then we see the results of all the topics. I only have one, but okay, let's work with it. If you expand it, you can see over here the prompts. Let's use this prompt, click on View Full Response, and you can see exactly what this prompt is and how the reaction is in ChatGPT. Now we can see all these upcoming events and conferences, but not CloudFest inside of here, which is strange because London is in here, Amsterdam is in here, Europe is in here, but not Germany. And that's weird because 15,000 people are coming to CloudFest every single year, so it should be in here. So how to proceed? We're going to use all this information from Semrush, all these sources, to go to these websites and ask them if maybe they want to mention CloudFest also. And if they've never been there and that's the reason why they didn't mention it, well, you could of course think about sponsoring the entire trip for them. Alright, let's go to the next one, go to AI, and we go to brand performance. Here we can see how AI talks about our brand. So we're gonna fill in our brand again and press on Analyze. Then we're going to enter in the target location. Let's go with worldwide again, the target language, and press on Get Started. While we're waiting on Semrush, this is the perfect opportunity to hit that like button below and also subscribe to this channel. The first thing I want to show you are the AI generated strategy based on the latest data update. These differ per brand, per domain name, and you can use these things. If we go to perception, which over here, we can see real actionable strategies to turn up our AI visibility inside the LLMs. On the right side, we have the share of voice versus sentiment. We have 93%, which is extremely high. I've never seen that before. The talk about it is always very positive and enthusiastic. Must be because it's a really great event. Well, if you're going in March, I can see you right there. Link is in the comments section and in the description of this video, so you can go for free. Awesome. And then we scroll down, we can see all the other brands over there. Really great. Then we have the overall sentiment. This is pretty great. CloudFest is doing a really great job. Then we can see the share of voice. These are non-branded prompts being asked at the LLMs, and CloudFest is returning in 12% of the cases we are mentioned inside of the answers. And if we then scroll down, we come to the key business drivers by frequency. Over here we can see, for example, these differ per brand and per niche, but here we have the festival style event experience. The LLMs are referring to CloudFest as the most festival style event experience. And if we scroll down, you can see it per competitor, all the key business points. Now, this information doesn't make any sense if this is not your brand. So you might read this and you say, what is this all about? If you type in your own brand and your own URL, this will make sense. If we then scroll down, we come to the strategic opportunities. We can see different kind of colors, green, orange, and red. The red one are the urgent, medium, and short time frames. In here, we can see the recommendations. Here is the explanation of what's going on. And here we have the recommendations as how you need to do that. These strategic recommendations are pure gold. All other AI tools that I have used all lack these specific features. So this is pretty awesome. The only thing I'm missing right here is a button which says save this to my to-do list or add it to my strategy. Or, you know, because now I have to copy this, press on copy, and send it somewhere to my colleagues or save it in a document or something. So old school. All right, let's go to the next one, which is the perception. Again, we're gonna start with the insights over here, but on the right side, we can see the competitive perception by platform. In here, we can see that Google AI Mode is talking the best positive about CloudFest and then about KubeCon, and you can, well, compare them. Also ChatGPT web search and ChatGPT itself and Gemini. You can see that, hey, CloudFest is not doing a bad job at all. And this is because people are talking very positively about CloudFest, and that's the reason why it's so high, the perception is so good inside of all the LLMs. Excellent job. Then we scroll down and we go to the overall sentiment, and then we have the favorable sentiment over time. Of course, if you keep using Semrush, then this graph will fill out and you can see what's going on if things are changing. Then we scroll down and we can see the key sentiment drivers, the brand strength factors, and the areas for improvement. Again, really awesome and a source of some good information. The content is less deeply technical than hyperscaler events or Microsoft Ignite, more business and partnership focused. Now, this is of course great feedback for your event or for your brand, and you can use this if you want to change the perception of the LLMs, or just leave it if you think that's exactly who we want to be and that is our core. Great. Then we scroll down and we can see again AI strategic opportunities. Then we go over here to the narrative drivers. Again, we can see over here the insights and the share of voice by platform. But here we can see how many times our brand is being mentioned by all these platforms in comparison to our competitors. And then you can see that CloudFest is not returning in a lot of answers inside of the LLMs. So definitely some work still to be done. Then we scroll down and we go over here to the share of voice, dimensions, and the average position of your brand inside of the LLMs. Again, this can be very useful in the long run because you can see exactly how is your brand performing and does it grow in the positions, in the mentions, and in the share of voice in comparison to your competitors talking about in this specific niche. And then we scroll down and we go to top domains by citations. Now these are the top 5 most cited domains in AI generated answers related to your specific industry. Now our domain is always shown even if they are not in the top 5. As Semrush says, we are far behind our rivals. Very interesting to see. Then we can dive deeper. We have answers non-branded, we have branded, citations non-branded, and citations branded. If you click on any one of these, you can scroll down and you can see the prompts, the questions that has been used for the LLMs. If you then click on this, you can see, and CloudFest is being mentioned over here pretty good inside of this answer from the LLMs. Now, you can go through all these questions and all the results to see how your brand is performing. We have 7 pages of this, so that's pretty nice. And you can also go to the answers branded, which is basically the same, but now CloudFest is inside of the prompts. But what's even more interesting is to go over here to citations non-branded. Here we can see all the sources that LLMs use to create their answer, in this case non-branded answers. So they have different kind of brand mentions. So what you can do is open up this website, seek out the different blog posts. We did that already over here at the competitor research and the visibility overview. And we can ask them to add in our domain, add in our brand mention to influence the LLMs. And then we can also go to citations, which are branded. In here again, the sources where LLMs find their answers. But this time you can use them to, well, maybe change the message LLMs are putting out by visiting this website and changing the content in there, or asking them, or copying and pasting even more information to those platforms. Alright, if we then scroll down, again we have AI strategic opportunities. Then finally we go over here to the AI questions. Again, we see here on the left side the insights, but on the right side we can see the topic distribution created by LLMs. We can see how LLMs perceive our brand. Very interesting. If this is not correct, then you have to do a lot of work. If we then scroll down, we can see the current question analysis. 87% is for research, 8% comparison, and 6% for improvement. Interesting. Trends over time will be filled out if we're using this longer. Then we have the topic analysis and patterns we can see. And then again, the AI strategic opportunities, which is really useful. Then we go to the last one, which is site audit and prompt tracking. In the page audit, you can see your own domain. Press over here on setup. You can change all the settings for your audit by Semrush. Might be useful if you have a custom server, for example, or you have certain restrictions that need to be bypassed. Most of the time, I just press over here on Start Audit. Then after a while, you can click over here on your own domain name, and then you can see the technical site audit. Over here, we can see the site health, the crawled pages. 2 are broken, 53 have issues. The site health is 80%. That's not that good. We are not blocking any AI agents. Very important. Well, over here we can see all the warnings. We have duplicate title text, low text to HTML ratio, sitemap XML not specified. We have a different kind of errors. We can click on view all of them. Then you go over here to the issues. What should you do with all this information? I would suggest to export it to a CSV file, for example, send it over to your technical guy, your web builder, and take a look at all these issues and ask them, hey, what of these can we fix? Because the LLMs really like a clean website and we need to have the best website, especially in comparison with our competitors. Then we go over to the last one, the prompt tracking. Click on your own project over here. Here on the position tracking, we can see all the prompts that we've been clicked on to monitor them. They will end up over here. As you can see, here are the prompts. It's just one, but basically you can tag them then also, and you can monitor what these prompts are doing inside of the LLMs. We can see the overview, the ranking distributions, the tags if you create them. You can see the pages from your own website, competitor discovery, devices and location if you have the guru plan or the business plan. Absolutely useful to track all your prompts. I know for a fact that this tool will give you a lot of useful information and insights how to improve your website and influence the sources that are being mentioned by LLMs. Like this video if it was useful for you, and if you have questions, just drop it down in the comments. I'll always reply. I hope to see you in the next video. For example, this video over here, the entire Semrush tutorial might be useful if you want to know more and everything about your website, also in the search engines. Have a great day, stay awesome, and hope to see you in the next video.